Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Guys, yesterday I handed out a two-leg parlay, and if you couldn't tell by the title in the thumbnail, we cashed last night. And I decided, since Saturday was technically our day one of our August ladder challenge, and we didn't even get off the ground, a failure to launch, if you will, I decided, hey, we cashed yesterday, let that be day one of our second attempt of our August ladder challenge. So this is officially today's video, day two of our August MLB ladder challenge, take two. Guys, make sure if you haven't already to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button and drop a comment down below. Like I already mentioned, we have so much great content coming out here on this channel between myself, Ev, and Trey. Trey killing it with the WNBA picks. You know, Ev is holding it down with his MLB picks. And then very soon, we're going to have college football and NFL content coming out on the channel between myself, Ev, and Trey. So great time to be a subscriber. So many free plays we're handing out daily here on the channel. Do not miss out and go ahead and subscribe. And I know I already mentioned it, but just to go ahead and recap yesterday quickly, I unfortunately do not have the recap screen I typically do. But these were the two plays yesterday as part of our two-leg parlay. Zebby Matthews over 4.5 strikeouts. That cash, no problem. And Logan Webb over 5.5 strikeouts. That cash, no problem. Plus 147 parlay we cashed in yesterday's video. So we have another two-leg parlay to hand out in today's video. We're going to put 1.47 units on this parlay, taking everything we won yesterday and putting it on today's parlay. Now, you could go ahead and put everything 2.47 units. My strategy when it comes to ladder challenges is taking that initial unit, putting it back in your pocket, saving it for later, so that way, regardless if you win or lose, you go ahead and break even on the ladder challenge. So that's what I do, but of course, that's me playing more safe. If you want to go ahead and put the full 2.47 units on today's parlay, it's totally up to you. For me personally, I'll be putting 1.47 units on today's parlay. And without further ado, let's dive right in to today's two-leg player prop parlay. All right, guys, we have some early games in today's slate, so we'll find out pretty early whether or not this parlay is going to cash or not. The first leg of our two-leg parlay, we are targeting the Yankees-Rangers game, 2:35 p.m. first pitch. We're going Carlos Rodon of the New York Yankees over 6.5 strikeouts. Now, just like yesterday, we're going to go ahead and use strikeouts as the player proposition, I should say, for these two plays. I made that sound so much more complicated than it needed to be. Both player props are going to be pitcher strikeout props. Probably the easier way to go ahead and say that. And we are using DraftKings like we did yesterday for today's parlay. So we're grabbing this player prop for minus 155 on DraftKings, barely even alternate line, basically a straight bet on it that we're just throwing here in the parlay. Now, I will be honest, at first glance, the last 10 game data is not great for Carlos Rodon. Just 4 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 5.8 strikeouts per game over his last 10 games. Not great, but if we do go ahead and narrow the data down to the last 5 games, he started to kind of rebound a little bit. 3 of his last 5, he's cashed the over. He's averaging 6.6 strikeouts per game over the last 5 games. And to kind of narrow it even further, 3 of his last 4, he's cashed the over. Some pretty solid performances against the likes of the Cubs, the Phillies, and the Marlins. Now, his last 10 games aren't great, but if you go ahead and stretch the data out the entire season view, he's got a 61% hit rate on the over. He's averaging 6.78 strikeouts per game this season. So, yeah, he's been in a little bit of a rough stretch, but overall this year, he's been very, very solid. And to be fair, the Yankees in general have been on a very rough stretch of late. Now, here's where this player prop starts to get very, very valuable here. Look at the head-to-head data for Carlos Rodon versus the Texas Rangers. Each of his last 2 matchups versus the Rangers, he's cashed the over. And honestly, even if you look at the last 3 games, yes, he missed it back on August 10th of last year, but a close, narrow miss there with 6 strikeouts. So he's cashed in 2 of the last 3. He's averaging 8.33 strikeouts per game across those last 3 matchups with the Rangers. And he has pitched against them once this year already. Back on May 22nd, he had 8 strikeouts in that game. So the matchup on paper seems to be pretty solid. Looking down low at the key matchup stats here, the Rangers batting versus left-handed pitchers, that's where the key advantage comes in here. You look at in the overall numbers for 2025, they clearly are struggling versus left-handed pitchers. 25.3% strikeout percentage. That is bottom 4 in Major League Baseball. And if we narrow the data down to the last month, it's been even worse for the Rangers. They are the worst team over the last 30 days in Major League Baseball in terms of strikeout percentage against left-handed pitchers, bottom 2 in walks per strikeouts. Their batting numbers, although some categories have actually gotten better, and when it comes to strikeouts, they have consistently been pretty poor against left-handed pitchers. And looking at Carlos Rodon this year, he's in the 91st percentile in terms of strikeout percentage, 92nd percentile in terms of strikeouts per 9 innings. So all of that leads for me to believe that 7 strikeouts is a very attainable goal here for Carlos Rodon. The fact that the line is even where it's at, for minus 155, the line is set at 6.5 strikeouts, tells me that the sports books know Rodon could have a very big game here. So I like this a lot. And for minus 155, the value I think is phenomenal. All right, guys, in our second leg of our 2-leg parlay, we're moving on to the Blue Jays-Rockies game, 3:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Kevin Gausman of the Toronto Blue Jays over 4.5 strikeouts. Now, this one definitely more juiced than the last player prop. We're grabbing this one for minus 200 over on DraftKings. So the last one minus 155, this one minus 200. That being said, though, the data is a little stronger here on this player prop than the last one. So you get what you pay for. 7 of his last 10 games, Kevin Gausman has cashed the over. That's a 70% hit rate over the last 10 games, averaging 5.9 strikeouts per game over the last 10 games. We go ahead and narrow it down just the last 5 games. He's had an 80% hit rate. 4 of his last 5 he's cashed the over, averaging 6.8 strikeouts per game over his last 5 games. And looking at the entire 2025 season data in totality, you got a 68% hit rate, averaging 5.77 strikeouts per game this season. So pretty good numbers across the board for Kevin Gausman. The head-to-head data is not as strong. To be fair, it's only 1 game, and it was well over a year ago, April of 2024. He had 4 strikeouts and what was a 12-4 win for the Rockies. So not a lot to go off of there in terms of the head-to-head data. However, we go ahead and scroll down below here to the key matchup stats, and you can see where the clear advantage is here for Kevin Gausman. The Rockies batting versus right-handed pitchers, they are the worst team this year in terms of strikeout percentage against right-handed pitchers, and also the worst team in terms of walks per strikeouts. Now, over the last 30 days, you've seen some very minor increases. They're still bottom 2 in strikeout percentage and walks per strikeouts. Now, their hitting numbers have been better over the last month. You see top 5 in batting average versus right-handed pitchers. OBP's on the higher side, WOBA very high. So that's kind of the one negative of this player prop. Now, Kevin Gausman, 73rd percentile in terms of strikeout percentage, 67th percentile in terms of strikeouts per 9 innings. All those numbers are fine. The real threat here, obviously, is the fact, and the fact they're playing in Colorado, which notoriously is a rough place for pitchers to go ahead and pitch, which is the negatives. Again, being completely transparent with you guys, the one big risk here is that Kevin Gausman doesn't get the opportunity to stay in the game long enough to get 5 strikeouts, because the Rockies could go ahead and have a field day hitting off him. We will see. He's not a terrible pitcher. He's not having a bad season. So the key thing here is that he stays in the game long enough to get those 5 strikeouts. Obviously, pitching in Colorado, always a challenge due to the elevations factors there. And again, the Rockies have been hitting the ball very well of late against right-handed pitchers. But when strikeouts are concerned, it looks to be a pretty solid matchup here. And honestly, based off the track record, based on the hitting numbers for the Rockies, especially strikeout percentages versus right-handed pitchers, I think it's a good player prop here to go ahead and throw in our parlay. Are there risks? Absolutely. But there are risks with every single bet you go ahead and take. There's no such thing as a guarantee. So I do like this leg as the second leg of our 2-leg parlay. By the way, guys, shout out to Outlier, the sponsor of today's video, and all of our player prop videos here on the channel. We do offer a link down below in the description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to go ahead and check it out for yourself. If you like anything that you've seen so far in this video, go ahead and check out the link down below so you can get access to this website and this database, because it is truly fantastic. It makes you a better sports bettor, a smarter sports bettor. It's a fantastic tool to have by your side. So go ahead and check it out. Link down below in the description. 7-day free trial. All right, guys, here's our recap. Kevin Gausman over 4.5 strikeouts and Carlos Rodon over 6.5 strikeouts. You parlay both together in DraftKings, you get a parlay of plus 147 odds. So literally the same thing we had yesterday. Yesterday we had plus 147. Today, plus 147. We're going to put 1.47 units on this plus 147 parlay, and we're going to go ahead and ride it out. Again, if you can't follow on DraftKings, you have a lot of different options. ESPN Bet, FanDuel. You go down the line. I know Hard Rock Bet has both available, so on and so forth. You can go ahead and tail this parlay in a number of different ways. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Hopefully tomorrow we come back with our day 3 ladder challenge. But regardless, if we win today or lose today, we'll be back tomorrow with another MLB player prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Wednesday. Let's go ahead and make some money.